Hi everyone, I'm Dominic Ansel. We're here in my kitchen in New York, and today I'm going to show you how to do a Raspberry Linzer cookie. I have a tart that I just made, and of course we always have scraps and have a lot of scraps here. So I'm going to show you how to make this cookie by just using the scraps. And this recipe is actually in my new cookbook, Everyone Can Bake. I wanted to show you guys something to do with leftover in my kitchen. I don't like to waste food. I think it's very important to repurpose as much as you can and waste as little as you can. I remember my days back in France. I used to put a transparent trash bag in the kitchen so I could see what the chefs were trashing and if they were trashing things they were not supposed to, just to catch the mistakes or help them with a better training. So today I'm going to use this vanilla sable, which is one of the recipes from my book. It's a base for vanilla tart shell, which I have right here. Here I have vanilla sable. I'm just gonna cut out the outside with fluted cutter, and then we're gonna cut out the center. So I'm gonna do a plain one to go underneath, and the one with the cutout to go on top. And we'll bake this separately and assemble it with a raspberry jam. I'm gonna place them right here on the sheet tray, and we'll bake it when it's ready. I have a few different cutters here, a few different sizes, to make sure I use as much dough as I can. So I'm gonna go on the side, and you can also repurpose these little scraps to roll them again and do the same thing until you use all of it. I'm gonna cut a few. Here I'm done cutting my sable. As you can see, I have the plain one for the base and the one with the cutout in the center. This is gonna be placed on the top. We're gonna bake this and put it together with a raspberry jam, which we're going to do next. And if you don't have raspberry jam, you can also use any type of jam that you might have at home. These sundaes just came out of the oven. I baked them at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. And you want this beautiful golden color on the outside. I use a fluted cutter for this. You can also use any type of cutter, plain cutter or any fun shape will work very well with this as well. Let's get started with the raspberry jam. So the raspberry jam for Linzer, it's a classic. It's just filling for the inside of the cookies that we're going to use today. For this I use fresh raspberries. I'm going to make everything from scratch today. Fresh raspberries, they can be a little bit damaged. It's okay, we're going to cook them down. I have sugar and a little bit of apple pectin. Apple pectin will help setting the jam to make it a little bit thicker. If you don't have apple pectin, you can also use different type of pectin. There's many on the market. If you wanted to do it without the pectin, that will work as well. You might have to cook down the jam a lot more. So only 3 ingredients for our jam. We're gonna start with the raspberries. And traditionally a jam is infused with the sugar. You infuse the fruit with the sugar the day before, you let it sit so the all the juice comes out of the berries. This is a quick jam, this is not traditional jam, and it's just much faster way to do it. We're gonna add most of the sugar here with the raspberries in the pot, and we're gonna mix a little bit of the sugar with the pectin, and this will just help us sprinkle the pectin inside the jam once it's all liquid and cooked, to make sure that we don't have any pieces of pectin setting into the jam. So it will just help us incorporate the pectin into the jam. We're gonna start cooking this medium heat for a little bit until everything starts melting, and then we'll add the pectin. So our fruit have been cooking for about 20 minutes now, and you can see the broken pieces of the raspberries. It's pretty liquidy. I'm gonna start adding my mix of pectin and sugar. So for this, I'm going to sprinkle very gently while whisking. And And I do this because I want to make sure that everything is incorporated together without having any pieces inside. So you mix quite fast and you sprinkle very gently. I'm going to cook this for another 15 to 20 minutes until the jam gets thicker, and then we'll do a little test to make sure that it's actually cooked. Our jam has been cooking for about 45 minutes now, and if you can see, the texture is much thicker now. And usually in my professional kitchen, I'll use thermometer, but for today I'm going to make it without. So for this, I'll use just a plate to check on the consistency of the jam. So I'll just put a few drops right here. I'll do a little line. I'm gonna let it sit on the side, and then we're gonna check the texture of it. So we're just gonna let it cool for 30 seconds to a minute. Well, growing up, I love making jam. My grandma actually had a cherry tree in her garden. I would always go to pick cherries. I would eat more than I would like bring back home, but the few I had to bring back home, I would actually make a jam with it. So I love making jam. It's really fun for me. If you look at the texture of the jam, you can see that it's quite thick right now. It's cooling down. I can see it's shiny. It's holding the shape. And I just do a little test with my finger. I'll just press it to the side and I see if it holds the shape. As you can see, for this test, it actually does. So the jam is cooked enough. And if you see that it's a little bit runny, it's a bit loose, you can always keep cooking it. If it's a little too thick, if you cook it a little bit too far, you can always add a tiny bit of water and mix it a little bit more. So the jam is now ready to be assembling our Linzer cookies. Alright, my jam has been in the fridge for about an hour now. It's cold. Just make sure you use a cold jam to build this, otherwise it will run everywhere. It's an easy recipe to do. We're gonna put the cookies together now. So we're just gonna pipe a little bit of the jam on the outside, just right here. Just enough to stick the first cookie. So don't put it too much too close to the side, otherwise it will run out. And then I'll pipe a little bit more jam in the center. We're gonna do this with all of the cookies. I'm gonna finish a little bit of powdered sugar. So if you don't have time to make the jam, you can always use something that you have at home. That will work as well. And as you can see here, I have a little bit of powdered sugar on the jam, but just the humidity of the jam will absorb the sugar, and then it will stay beautiful and right in the center. Our cookies are not finished. I always suggest to let it sit for a little bit, maybe 30 to 45 minutes, just so the cookie gets a little bit more tender. You see, it's an easy recipe using scraps. All these recipes are in my new cookbook, Everyone Can Bake. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you can be baking at home with me. Cheers.